What is up, Drew Boney's JJ back here from Rump Your Bets, talking a little more MLB. So two more losses yesterday means one and only one thing. The clown getup comes back. So it's been a while since I've had to take out the clown gear. But, we know on this channel that when I lose 4 plays in a row on said channel, I temporarily have to go into witness protection. And, you just try to not be as noticeable. Like right now, in theory, this could be anybody talking, right? Like it doesn't have to be me specifically, right? So just trying to kind of hide from everybody these days. A few bad looks this week in general in baseball. Actually, was a good week for me up until, believe it or not, up until Friday. But overall, you got to take the good with the bad. And right now, it's the bad. So, but things don't change. You see, you still got the chains. Still got the coffee, so you just kind of take one step at a time. Now, I will say this. Imagine somebody on this show yesterday saying that, oh, shit, at some point the market's going to overreact to all these unders and there's going to be overs that pile through. LOL. But look, the truth of the matter is, like anything else, stock market, real estate, blah, 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 blah. Everything ebbs and flows. Right now baseball's struggling to get runs. I think yesterday out of 15 games, there was 11 unders, I think. So just another day of a tremendous amount of, lack of scoring, if you will. But all we can do is look forward and even like today, like you look at some of these lines again, like the weather's getting warmer. And you have pitchers that like just aren't very good pitchers, and totals, again, a ton of totals in that 7 to 8, area. Now, some of them are stretched, some of them have stretched into bigger numbers. And part that sucks is 2 of the games I bet, which are overs, which I'm sure nobody's going to be a fan of again. But both of them have seen good movement since I've made the wagers on them. And obviously, it's earlier this morning, but so at least the games that we're targeting are seeing some positive steam towards the overs. And look, I think that overall, again, like, we'll talk on this Baltimore Red Sox game first, right? Total open 7.5, 8. Now it's 8.5, despite there not being a single over game at Camden, right? So like I said, we'll talk through it. We'll talk through these games. I'll give you two bets I made and we'll go from there. And again, just remember, I'm currently in hiding. So let's be easy, folks. Okay, so we got nice little people in the chat. Princess Chachi, what's going on? 9CJ said yesterday overs in the MLB is a tough bet. Yeah, look, but it's like anything else, 9CJ. Like, if you're somebody who, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, if you're somebody right now who's deciding to buy houses, right? Like the real estate market's absolutely nuts, right? So, if you're somebody that's going out and paying, above 20% market for houses, I mean, you can, but you're not going to get the return on value for them. As for right now with betting, I know it's a little bit of an egregious example, right, or a metaphor, but if you're right now consistently betting unders, I mean, the time to be betting unders was earlier in the year. Like now these numbers are worse. So you're betting unders at worse numbers. And at some point that's just going to median back. Will it be today? Obviously wasn't yesterday. Will it be tomorrow? Who knows when? As the weather warms up, you would figure some of these totals will median out. And again, let's not forget, there's no more pitcher in the National League batting. So you have the DH on both ends. Like I said, at some point this stuff will median out. The sample size is growing alarming. I will say that. I mean, it's hard not to admit that, right? But like I said, either way, you put one foot in front of the other, and take stands where you feel you need to take stands. We the people, what's going on? F and Bob, Vegas Bruce, SP Gills, Chris. Yeah, so let's aim to have a good day, Carlos. So anyway, so we'll talk on this Baltimore game. Hold on. So yeah, another very low scoring game in Camden yesterday, with 2 what I'd consider average at best pitchers, and here we go again, right? 2 average at best pitchers, Jordan Lyles, Nick Pivetta. Pavetta's struggling early on this year. He probably medians out, though. He's definitely not this bad of a pitcher as far as his surface level ERA. Jordan Lyles, I continue to say, like, I don't mind his stuff. I think he can maneuver through innings. He can eat innings at times. But again, at times he also has issues with the home run ball. And the Red Sox aren't exactly a team, somebody like him would want to face on a regular basis. Boston being 140 here makes sense. But look, again, total open 7.5. It boosts to 8. Some spots even have 8.5. It's not like it's super warm in Camden, but I think it's going along what I've been saying, that the market itself, or if it's the market, the sports betting market, is going to start bouncing back and betting these games over. So the fact that obviously your heaviest bettors, your bettors that actually move lines, don't care that there hasn't been an over hit at the stadium because people are betting it. This line got steamed up. Despite absolutely no runs getting scored here, and even hits have been hard to come by in this stadium. Again, Baltimore, I just don't understand the whole purpose of moving that wall back. But here, if we look at the lineups real quick, in this game, it looks like, Boston's got a really good lineup out today. And the Orioles, it doesn't look like they're sitting in. Or maybe they're sitting Mancini, unless he's hurt. Outside of that, it's the lineup you would kind of expect. That is such a black hole at the bottom of that Orioles lineup, though. Look, again, like I said yesterday, it makes sense to bet overs with these numbers in Camden, but this is a specific stadium that how could you want to bet an over until you actually see one come through? Otherwise, you're just chasing something that hasn't happened yet. Definitely not betting the over here. But just letting you guys know that the steam is starting to hit some of these games over, where earlier, I'd say about a week ago, there was a lot of steam hitting a lot of these games under. And now that's kind of changing. But again, it's really changing because of the numbers, right? These sports books are opening these numbers lighter, and now people are hitting them because at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. We'll move on to the next game. So Rays Twins, Josh Fleming, Josh Winder. It's a shame, right? Because yesterday, one of the bets I said that I would have bounced back and fired on would have been Twins team total over 3. I like them. I like their righty matchup against a lefty in McClanahan, and I felt like they could have put enough pressure on him. They got him out before the 6th, before he was able to complete 6, because I know the 6th inning was where he got rattled. Fleming is another lefty. I don't love the spot, though. Josh Winder, if you look at, some of his stuff, it's only 10 innings, right? 10 or so innings, so the sample size is super small, but he's not striking anybody out. He is walking through about 3 per 9. Batting average on balls in plays like 150, which is just wild. That regression's going there. Home run ball, leaving like 85% of guys on base. This dude, and it wasn't not like he was crushing it in AAA last year either. So, I don't like this spot for him. So you would think, maybe like the over in this game. But again, I'm not just betting overs at a full clip right now for obvious reasons. But look at the Twins lineup they have out today. It's pretty good. However, the Rays lineup that they put out, at the back of their lineup, even 5th, they put Harold Ramirez in versus a righty. You got Taylor Walls, Paredes, Phillips, Pinto. I'd argue from 5 through 9, this Rays lineup is woof. So I think you get a lineup edge with the Twins. At the price of this game, which is what, 149. I wouldn't have normally liked the Twins at this price, about plus 130-ish, but primarily because of this lineup discrepancy, you have to kind of like the Twins a little bit in this spot. But I don't love this overall. Again, the Twins are much like the Red Sox. Not a team exactly I've yet gotten right. Now, contrary to the Red Sox, I haven't bet a lot of Twins games this year. I have bet a decent amount of Red Sox games. So shame to see them yesterday pile in the hits late with the pop. And here Fleming, another decent matchup for them, but coming from the left side. But it's going to be a pass for me. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What's up, Buzzer Beater? Okay, so next game up. So Pirates, Padres, Mitch Keller, Joe Musgrove. This is another spot where when you look at two pitchers, a guy like Musgrove who is consistently erratic with his control on the road. This has been proven for a few years now. The dude is, when you watch his stuff, he's got electric stuff. Especially once he gets ahead of hitters, he has multiple pitches that he can put them away with. And very deceptive pitches as well. However, on the road, he just seems to lack control, which causes him to walk a lot of guys and then, put pressure on him in critical situations. And then you have Mitch Keller on the other end, who is consistently a roller coaster to watch pitch, a guy that has tremendous stuff. You can watch him literally load up the bases and then K 3 straight guys. But he plays with fire way too often and does get burned because of it. You look at a total here, 7.5. Musgrove struggles on the road. Keller's typically a roller coaster as well. It seems soft here, but again, it's like where do you want to pick your spots for totals, right? Because if you're just going to blindly bet every total over because of some value or potentially some value, because here's the thing, I will tell you this: if right now you look at a bunch of these 7.5 numbers and you say to yourself, there's still value on betting these under. Okay, so from your perspective, when do you convince yourself that value then swings the other way? Because that's what it is, right? Sports betting is a pendulum, right? It's a market pendulum. Swings one way, zig the other way. It swings the other way, zag the other way. So if a game like this, 7.5, and you're like, this total's too high, so I'm just going to keep betting under, then the 6.5 become too low? Like if this total was 6.5, would you then say, now it's time to start betting overs? You're not going to see an MLB total less than 6. So, what do you take out of it, right? Here you got PNC, you got Keller, who's typically a below average arm, fun to watch, but he typically just consistently gives up a ton of runs. Musgrove on the road struggles. To me, there's some value here in the over. Again, I won't play it because I'm still being very hesitant on these mass wide overs as a whole for obvious reasons. But to me, slight value on the over, but I'll pass. Okay, Blue Jays, Astros. I know yesterday I said there's some value on the Jays at minus 140. I mean, I know they snuck out the win. What I didn't like necessarily was that they used their best pen to get there. And then here you got Gaussman, maybe a little thick on the price here, but I'll be honest, I haven't loved Framber Valdez, and I'm a Framber Valdez guy. This matchup's not exactly great for him, though. You throw him, a left-hander, against this Jays right-heavy lineup. The good thing for Valdez is, much like the lineup I mentioned before with the Rays, I mean, you look at 6 through 9 on this lineup for the Jays, it's woof. I mean, Kirk, Espinal, Copper, and Zimmer. That's as big of a black hole as you'll find today from 6 through 9. So the Jays are going to have to do a lot of their damage 1 through 5. It was nice to see Springer double dong yesterday against the Astros, right? I mean, after they kind of let him go. And for him to be doing it against the Astros, I'm sure makes him feel good. Now, even on the Astros side, it looks like Bregman's sitting today. They got Alzmas Diaz in the 3 hole, which is kind of wild. So I look at this, and obviously the total is 7.5. I'll be honest, you're not going to find me loving a bunch of unders these days because of the way the numbers are. And I can't imagine there's going to be too many totals where the Jays and Astros play one another and the total 7.5. But based on the lineups today, it's hard not to like the under at 7.5. Again, I don't love it because in normal circumstances between these two pitchers with these two teams, this total would usually be at least 8. So it's hard to rationalize value on the under. But again, when you look at the lineups, you break that apart, you break the game apart. You got 2 good arms. You got lineups that are degraded for sure, or degraded. Sorry, for sure. So call it a slight lean on the under at 7.5. Definitely not a love spot for me. Okay, so Marlins, Mariners, Sandy Alcantara, Logan Gilbert. 2 guys have pitched tremendous this year. And look, the Marlins, what they won, like 8 games in a row, 7 games in a row. I mean, fade at your own risk. I'll tell you this, though. Alcantara at home, we kind of know this. This dude is absolutely filthy at home. I mean, you can go back like 2 or 3 seasons now with this guy. Like, he literally has gotten like lit up, maybe 4 or 5 total times at home. And when I say lit up, 4 earned or more? I mean, could that happen? Of course, it could happen on any given day. It could happen today. The Mariners lineup is definitely potent. It's just something about that park and him. And same thing with Pablo Lopez. They just pitch tremendous here. And granted, it's a pitcher's park, but they also pitch in other pitcher's parks on the road, and they just don't pitch nearly as good. Logan Gilbert's been great, but he's got regression coming. And the Marlins sticks are active. Like yesterday, they didn't really pile up a lot of runs yesterday, but they did what they had to do to win. I'm more concerned about this pen. It's been getting a ton of work recently. So, full game wise, not the biggest of fans. I mean, I guess you could take Alcantara first 5, but this Marlins lineup is going to have to squeeze a run or 2 off Gilbert. And again, Gilbert's got regression coming, of course, with this low ERA, but for the most part, he's looked really good. He hasn't looked this good, as good as the surface ERA shows, but on the Alcantara end, you would figure he would be able to slow down this Mariners lineup. And you look at it, like even here, like the Mariners have a decent lineup today. I wouldn't consider this opening day by any means. I mean, JP Crawford bet 5th is kind of wild. But even the Marlins, like they're trying to stay hot with this. They're keeping a lot of their starting guys in. Even as far as like Wendell betting 7th, up and down. So to me, they with how they're hitting the stick or how they're swinging the sticks, they could definitely put a little pressure on Gilbert. To me, it's all about how hot they're playing right now. It's hard to fade them. I mean, you could fade the Marlins, but what are you going to do? You can just keep fading them until they lose. They're playing really good ball. And Mariners are my team, but they're kind of skidding again. They're kind of skidding from a hot start. So to me, lean Alcantara first 5. You could lay the half run at dog money or just playing first 5. But again, to me, the market is pushed in the direction of Alcantara pitching well at home. That's why the line is what it is. The Marlins winning streak, I'm sure, is in this mix as well. Because in most cases, Alcantara against a pitcher like Gilbert later in the year likely wouldn't be this line. It would likely be a pick'em, not 130, which is why I think that, I can't lay this with the Marlins, but I also can't fade the Marlins with their current winning streak. So easy pass for me. Joey, the nose is clogged because this red nose is clipping my nostrils. So keep up, Joey. Keep up. I hate to say I'd rather play it. I see a ton of unders today in the dead baseballs. Help. Yeah, look, I continue to say you're not alone, my friend. Everybody's betting unders these days. It's not like it's rocket science. But again, the numbers are going to move to a certain point where it's not going to make logistic sense to keep betting unders. So I'm just giving you that perspective. Okay, so let's move on. So White Sox Angels. And I know you guys probably aren't going to like this, but I did fire on this again. I bet this over 8.5. So I bet it minus 115 DK earlier. I mean, now it's 9 plus 100. But on FanDuel, do we still have 8.5 on FanDuel? Yes, FanDuel's 8.5 minus 120. So it's 5 cents difference. But so that's Angels, White Sox, over 8.5 minus 120. FanDuel. It's like I often say, right? When you bet overs, what are you looking for? You are looking for foot traffic. Okay. To me, there was a better pitching matchup yesterday, and the total was the same. Okay. You're getting a worse pitching matchup today with the lineups that are relatively the same. And the total is the same. This is the sports book's way of saying to you, they're starting to induce the market a bit, right? They're starting to change these numbers. To me, a lot of foot traffic yesterday, a lot of opportunities to score yesterday. The rain delay I thought might have helped us. It actually seemed to hurt us. Runs started to get in there, then the delay, then everything shut down from there. Got wind blowing out, I think like 17 or 20 miles an hour to left field. It's going to help. This isn't exactly warm weather, so we don't have that angle. But Keuchel hasn't been great. And you throw a lefty at the Angels. It's like throwing a lefty at the White Sox, right? Like it's never ideal. The Angels just have a ton of ability to hit left-handers. And Keuchel, again, Keuchel's crafty for sure, but he could definitely be hitting. Lorenzen, look, you look at Lorenzen, the dude's like an athletic freak. He's built he looks like he's built out of marble. But when you look at his advanced stuff, like the dude's been getting a little fortunate. He's not striking out guys at the clip that I think we would have assumed he was going to. And he's walking a little more than you would like to. And to me, he's giving up a lot of hard contact as well. He's finding ways to wiggle in and out of traffic though. But look, that 84% left on base and the 180 average on balls in play, these numbers are going to regress. And again, with his K per 9 7, and he's walking almost 4 guys per 9. Like I said, he is putting guys on base, and that will be a problem, especially against a team like the White Sox. Again, yesterday didn't work out, but I'd argue there was a lot of foot traffic yesterday for what could have been. And lefties just seem to pummel Lorenzen. And on the Angels end, like the Angels have obviously a lot of good righties. They also have decent lefties. And again, I mean, Taylor Ward, this dude is absolutely on fire at the plate. And so for me, again, another spot where, and I don't love these bullpens, as I mentioned yesterday. I know it sounds silly to go back to the well here, but I'll tell you this, you will tilt yourself a lot more doing the exact opposite of this. And here's what I mean. Let's say I bet the over yesterday, right? And I didn't like what I saw, so I turned around today and I bet the under, and the game went over. How do you think that makes you feel as a sports bettor, right? You basically middled yourself both ways. You liked an over one day because you didn't like what you saw. You turn around the next day and you bet the under in the same game. It's like fading yourself, the day after. And when you lose both bets, how are you going to feel, right? At least in this case, when you bet in this style or this fashion, I often do. I wouldn't call it like martingaling because I don't double down. But I do like to bet this way because, again, I feel like if I have a spot that I liked that didn't work out, I will go right back to it the next day and fire on it instead of like going the opposite way because you're just going to tilt yourself that way, right? I think we've all been there, right? Where you bet a team one day to win. They look like shit. So the next day you fade them and then they win that day. It's like a double middle finger to yourself. So yeah, just a little, I guess, way to try to keep yourself out of tilting like crazy. But yeah, so back to the well for me here, or not exactly a well, LOL, but I do like the spot. Don't you? You gotta love the comment. Keep them coming, man. What do you know? Just wondering. Come on, you gotta have a little good a sense of humor. Okay, so we'll move on. Cubs, Brewers, Corbin Burns, Marcus Stroman. I continue to say this. I am not a Marcus Stroman guy. I've said it for the last few years. When the dude is not inducing ground balls, he gets himself in a lot of trouble. Looks like his velo's down a little too. Not that matters. He chased money here to go to Chicago, where he had a pretty good gig with the Mets. Corbin Burns, obviously, another phenomenal start to the season. What I will say is this Cubs team has been somewhat hitting. The total is 2.5. It seems super low, but this Brewer Field, American Family, I think it's called. So it's not exactly like runs have been pumping here either, but it's great. A 6.5 total at this stadium is just so crazy. But with that said, runs are not happening, and they're not happening in bunches in these games. So tough to love. Again, if you got in my head here, especially with this Cubs lineup that they put out today, I wouldn't mind the over 2.5. It's a small number, but you're going to have to hope they pile up the pitch count for Corbin Burns, because Corbin Burns could very well go, 7 innings, 1 earned, or 7 innings, 2 earned. And you're going to have to hope for a miraculous final run out of the Cubs in late innings. But again, I like this Cubs lineup today. I think you look at a total 2.5, it feels low for the spot. If I was going to fire in this game, that's where I would, but no, just sticking to one. Sticking to the one bet, and I have one other that I made as well, but not this spot. Okay, so we'll go Royals Yankees. Daniel Lynch, Sevy, as Yankee fans call him. So Daniel Lynch it's like quite up and down numbers, right? Like I felt like last year he had like a decent start for a bit and then regressed a lot. A lefty that is, like many, susceptible to right-handed bats. And what do the Yankees have, right? A ton of right-handed bats. I'm not laying 200 with the Yankees in this spot. Absolutely not. Maybe we could talk on betting the under here. But, again, I'm not at a spot where I'm exactly loving unders at these poor spots. Just a game I don't really have a good read on. I never have a good read on the Yankees anyway, because I don't like to bet them. The Yankees are so boom or bust. Like if you're somebody that consistently bets Yankee games, I don't know how you're making money, because you're making money predominantly on picking the right times the Yankees hit home runs. They don't move runners over. They don't manufacture runs. They're not exactly an excellent fielding team. So I think that the Yankees' success will often come off of them donging and pitching well, which the pitchers obviously have a great staff, so that's going to be a little more consistent than their home runs. But they've had a good start to the year, right? But I'm not laying 200 with them in this spot. Cardinals Diamondbacks. This is another spot I like, so I bet this over 7.5. I'm just looking at the current number. So FanDuel has 8 minus 104, and DraftKings has 8 minus 105. Okay, that's unfortunate, but we will roll through. So this is Cardinals versus Diamondbacks over 8 minus 104. Was it FanDuel or DraftKings? 104 is FanDuel. So this is another spot. And I guess, like I said, look, I don't jerk myself off to CLV, but it is nice. It is nice to know that a few overs that I'm targeting, the market is moving with me on those overs, because again, you're getting unders everywhere. And there are a few games where totals are moving up and being pushed up. These two that I bet were two of them. Doesn't necessarily mean obviously that we're going to get runs or whatnot, but the reason why I like the over in this one today, and I mentioned yesterday I did like the over. Obviously, it didn't come to fruition, but Jordan Hicks, obviously glorified relief pitcher, likely to go 3 or 4 innings here. Zach Davies, those should know I'm not a big Zach Davies guy, but the big thing for me I like with this game is the lineups and the wind factor. So game's decently warm in St. Louis. We've got decent wind blowing out to left. And you look at these lineups, like this is practically opening day lineup for the Diamondbacks. I mean, Ketel Marte's hitting 6. That's crazy. This dude was one of the better players on this team for a few years. Then you look at the Cardinals. Basically, you have everybody except Goldschmidt, right? So for me, good lineup to test Davies, good lineup to test Hicks on what'll be a bullpen, more or less a bullpen day, presumably for the Cards. I think we get, much like the other game before, I think we get a lot of foot traffic here, and I think a few balls leave the yard. And I think when you take those things into consideration, I think it's a soft number. Again, in most cases, these two arms at this park in this type of weather would almost inevitably be 8.5, 9. The fact that it's 7.5 shows the market movement from all these unders that are coming through. And again, another spot I'm going to target. Again, if it's not today, it's fine. It is what it is. But at some point, these runs are going to manufacture, or the totals will continue to keep dipping, right? But I guess what I'm getting is at some point, the numbers will move far enough that overs pile through. It's pretty clear that the market believes, or at least when I say the betting market believes, that the numbers have now moved too far, and I'm with them as well. Okay, so Rangers, Braves, Kyle Muller, Taylor Hearn. So Muller making his first start of the season here. Taylor Hearn is not an individual who's nearly as bad as the 7.47 ERA. I mentioned yesterday, I think it was Bryce Elder going for the Braves. I wasn't a big fan of him. Again, you look at his advanced numbers and he looks like shit, but he pitched pretty well yesterday. I'll give him credit. Obviously the Braves didn't get runs today. You look at their lineup; it's a pretty good lineup. And having Acuna back is nice as well. I think Atlanta's a little too fat here with this number. But with that said, it's hard to love Texas either at this number. To me, it's about 5 to 8 cents off, and not enough to really move the needle for me to want to bet the Rangers at a dog price. So easy pass. That's for the total of 9. This is a big number. Like when we go, and I'll go back to what I'm saying, where these numbers getting steamed. This is a big number for this park, and especially when you take into consideration all the struggles with hitting the baseball. So easy pass for me on that number as well, over or under. We'll just move on. Reds, Rockies. So yesterday, obviously lost that team total over 5 with the Reds. Had some opportunities, not nearly as many as I thought. Chad Kuhl pitched pretty well again. And the sample size is growing large enough where we can start, justifying or rationalizing how good he's looked. But with that said, we still got to give him a few more starts before we really start to move the needle. Not super warm today in Colorado. This total is 10.5. But think about this for a second. This total is 10.5 with Freeland and Sam Martin. Sam Martin's ERA is obviously 11, but it's not even when if he's pitching really well, his ERA is likely going to end in the probably mid-4s, mid-5, somewhere in between there, flat 5. You get 2 arms like this in Colorado, and a total is 10.5. If that doesn't tell you sportsbooks are afraid of totals here. Now, I think they put a humidor in Colorado as well, which might impact runs this year for them. I mean, presumably, but either way, it's just crazy to me that you're seeing a total of 10.5 in this ballpark with these 2 arms, and the unders seeing steam or seeing some steam anyway. So yeah, not a fan. Certainly not a fan of the under. And after I got snake bitten yesterday with the Reds, I can't bet them again. Look, they could win today, but you can't. I didn't bet them to win. I just bet them to score. Their sticks were really well before yesterday, so maybe they get right back into it with their sticks today. They definitely have righties that can give Freeland issues, but again, it's just I feel so snake bitten on these totals recently that it makes it tough to just want to fire on all of them. And if you're betting the Reds to win, I mean you're probably a little crazy because if you've been betting the Reds to win anyway, you've been losing a lot of money. So to me, you want to bet the Reds today, bet their team total over again instead of betting them on the money line. Because again, even if they get a late lead, their bullpen is terrible. Much like the Rockies, their two pens are terrible. So again, you have 2 arms that are below average or average at best. You got below average pens. But again, you don't exactly have the warm weather in Colorado today, which skews things. But yeah, easy pass for me. Giants, Nats, Alex Cobb, Josiah Gray. Line feels right here at 175, total 7.5. Cobb, look, it's impressive that Cobb still finds ways to get outs, and now he's landed with the Giants, which is a good spot for him. Doesn't throw hard by any means, but works on location. Looked decent. I think he was on the Orioles. Was it last year, the year before? He's looked decent. Gives us a little bit of an issue with the home run ball, but here now he's got a better lineup backing him and a better park to pitch in. Josiah Gray, I'll be honest, I watch him pitch. I like him. I think you can watch him just mow down teams. I think he did it in the last start too. Like the first 3 or 4 innings, he had like 6 or 7 strikeouts. And then the walks became a problem. And then, a few botched singles and then the kind of the train went off the tracks. But again, I like him. I think he's a good pitcher. To me, some slight value on the Nats here. Nothing crazy though, because I do respect Cobb as well. 7.5 total, right where it should be on my end. So for me, it's an easy pass. Athletics, Guardians, James Caprielli and Tristan McKenzie. I mean, what do we make of Tristan McKenzie, right? Like last year, dude was a practical gas can. This year, he's looked okay. The good part is this Athletics team is not exactly, a world beater with their lineup every day, but neither is the Guardians. To me, I don't necessarily love the idea of laying vig with the Guardians on the road against anybody. They had a little decent start to the year, but they've regressed since. The problem is Caprielli is just not a good arm, right? I mean, he consistently got beaten up last year. I think this is his first start of the season, so, it's hard to even rationalize what to make of it. To me, the line's probably about right. It's probably a little too favored in favor of the Guardians, so maybe by a few cents, nothing crazy. But I can't blame anybody for betting either side of this game, whether it's Athletics or Guardians. I don't personally like anything of it here. And the total at 7.5. This Athletics field, we've talked about the Camden Yards. The Oakland Coliseum has not produced runs this season. Not that frequently anyway. It's not like you have 2 lineups here that can really master shit out of the ball. There's been occasional games that have popped in this stadium this year, but nothing crazy. Again, I'd love to sit here and give you a play in every game, but this is another easy pass for me. Hate that clown outfit between. F and Bob, you love to see it. Hey, look, fade at your own risk, my man. Do what you got to do. I can't blame you. But just realize when you watch this show, I don't bet like everybody else. So if you're coming here to get public takes, you're definitely going to consistently be in the wrong spot. Anybody can tell you to lay the run line with the Yankees and lay the run line with the Dodgers. And you're going to come here and you're going to get different takes, not necessarily to be different, but primarily because I'm I'm betting on markets. I'm not betting on teams to win in a given day. I'm betting where I find value in numbers. And yeah, in small samples, that's not going to work out for sure. In large samples, it often does. But again, we all go through streaks. I'm not here to cry the blues when I lose. But yeah, hey, look, you faded yesterday. Congrats, my man. Okay, so let's move on to these last two games. Dodgers, Tigers, Walker Buehler, Eduardo Rodriguez. I think the Dodgers lost last night, right? Pretty tough too. So Dodgers minus 260, over under 7.5. Eduardo Rodriguez, back in his Boston days, I really liked him. I haven't liked his stuff recently, though. He's lost some velo, and at least for him, he used to throw 95, 96. I think he even used to tip 97 at times. He's just not that same pitcher anymore, at least not on a consistent basis. And, I say you throw a lefty at the Dodgers. I mean, you throw a lefty or a righty at the Dodgers, doesn't seem to matter. But yesterday, I think I said, for whatever reason, when the Dodgers see a new arm, they just randomly struggle. And they saw a new arm yesterday, and they randomly struggled. Eduardo Rodriguez is not a new arm by any means. But do the Dodgers likely bounce back today? They might, or they should, but it's a fat line, right? You're going to consistently bet the Dodgers. You're going to consistently pay the price. So they're a market favorable team. But, again, you look up and down this lineup, and, they have plenty of pop against left-handed pitching. And Eduardo Rodriguez is not the left-hander he once was. So I don't love the spot, but I don't want to bet the Tigers in this spot, that's for sure. So easy pass for me. Mets, Phillies, been a fun series here in Citi Field. A lot of nice back and forth. Kyle Schwarber, what a big bomb yesterday for him to give the Phillies some momentum, and then a few extra home runs from there. Let them win the game 4-1. Problem with this Phillies team is their bullpen. I guess what Corey Knebel is their only good bullpen arm, and they taxed him yesterday. I think he threw 35 pitches, so he ain't going tonight. Max Scherzer has a big pitching edge against Eflin. Eflin, as we say, I don't like him on the road. I do think he's good, though. I just think on the road he tends to struggle. Going to be another brisk night in Citi with wind kind of howling a bit. Look, fade Scherzer at your own risk. I don't know. I don't love the spot, though, either way. This line's fair to me at $1.80. Total at 7 makes sense. There hasn't been runs in the series, but obviously that could pop at any moment. Scherzer's looked so good, though. And credit to the Mets, they got him. And he's going to look to carry his team until DeGrom comes back. Mets have had a great start. Yanks have had a great start. It's good to see New York baseball playing well. Hopefully, the Mets can continue this torrid pace, because once they get DeGrom back, I mean, Jesus, with them 1-2, I mean, that is a playoff disaster for teams trying to meet them. All the Mets have to do is sneak into the playoffs at that rate. So hopefully they keep playing good ball. On the Phillies end, you look at their lineup up and down. I mean, this is one of the better lineups in the National League. I mean, this lineup is robust, and their starting pitching obviously improved. But again, the Phillies' issue, like it's been most years, is their bullpen. They have Familia is their main hold guy, which is crazy because the Mets dumped him for practically nothing. So anyway, as it relates to this game, I think the number's fair at 180. Total 7 sounds definitely is around right. This is the type of game where you bet the over. You're really hoping the Mets score, because it would be shocking if this was a spot where Scherzer got lit up. He could, but the pitching conditions will be very favorable for him tonight. So either way, it's an easy pass for me. So again, the two games I bet personally earlier today were just confirm my slips. So it was Angels, White Sox 8.5. Got a little sense better than what was given out on this channel for this show. And then same thing with the Cardinals Diamondbacks. Got a little sense better than what was given out on this show. But needless to say, I like those two spots and I bet them. I know at some point, if I keep losing, betting these slight overs, you guys can keep punishing me for it. But again, this is just how I've always bet it. That's not going to change. You got to zig when the folks are zagging. Okay, so I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck today. Gamble responsibly. Stay safe. I will be certainly in the NASCAR DFS streets burning more money, because to me, NASCAR is love. NASCAR is life. So wish me luck there. LOL. But yeah, so just fired on these two games. Looking forward to better week of tennis, more baseball as well. Joey Werk will have you covered with a video for tomorrow. I will have a video for you for Tuesday, and then of course back on Friday. But again, another fun-filled week on Run Pure. So head over to runpurebest.com. Check us out. See what we're all about. Other than that, ladies and gents, have a good day. Enjoy yourself. It's beautiful weather in most areas. So have some fun. Get outside. And as always, run pure.